Web components in Markdown to write technical documentation. That has been my side project over the weekend, over the holidays, and it's finally done. Now, what can you do with it? You can write Markdown, and you can embed web components. Here I have a walking dinosaur that I import from this URL, and that walking dinosaur is interactive. It walks from left to right and right to left, and it can change the color. Now, why is this cool? Because if you write technical documentation, oftentimes you want more interactive parts. So here, for example, on the Paraglide.js documentation, the tiny runtime is actually HTML for that to be search engine optimized or indexed on Google. Same applies to the comments that we have down here. And here we actually have a flexbox that renders one comment, second comment, third comment, fourth comment. Point being, if you write technical documentation, oftentimes it becomes complex, or you want to have more interactive parts or adjust the layout, which you cannot do in plain Markdown. Now, you might be wondering, wait a second, I've seen that before. I've heard of MDX, and that is right. MDX here is another good example where they render a chart based in Markdown. There's also MD-Swix, where you have Markdown based on Svelte, where you can let a penguin walk. Now, the problem with all these frameworks that are out there is they can let you use components, but they're always bound to a framework. If you use MDX, you use React. And they're never portable. Never portable. Like if you import this code here, import chart from Snowfall.js, this is a dependency that you now have on first React and second on a component that you're importing here somewhere. The obvious answer to that is, well, Markdown is HTML. So we can directly embed HTML in Markdown. And by doing so, why the hell would we write the components in a framework like Svelte or React if what we want is a Markdown file that we render on some website, any website, doesn't matter if it's a React website, Svelte site, or Vue site. The answer is, okay, just run it with web components. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So that's pretty good. It's backwards compatible, so we define the imports in the front matter, and as a matter of fact, most Markdown parsers will just ignore this walking dinosaur. So if you render this Markdown on GitHub or NPM, what you will see is this. It just renders fine. The component is just omitted. This is the example Markdown that I gave in here. Everything else just renders as is. So great backwards compatibility. Okay, little bummer that the imports show up here at the top, but I think that is okay. So in summary, what can you do? You can write Markdown with components, interoperable, framework agnostic. Just write your Markdown and render it on any website. Great. Oh, by the way, we already have a lot of predefined components that you can use via the doc elements. So here, for example, we have an accordion that you can embed and directly write it in your Markdown. So a lot of predefined components, and the way to use them is just import them and then use them in your Markdown. This is an example Markdown here, where if we go into the README, yeah, this is how it looks like. Import walking dinosaur, and you're done.